It's quite alarming to note that annually, 48 million individuals in the United States experience food poisoning, with over 3,000 fatalities resulting from it. A significant number of them are elderly. The CDC indicates that older adults face significantly increased risks due to the decline in their immune system strength over time. The fact that the refrigerator can be a source of numerous illnesses is quite alarming. The conditions in your refrigerator, the very appliance you depend on to maintain food safety, could be compromising the healthiness of your everyday dinners. Recent studies have shown that inadequate refrigeration of certain foods can lead to harmful chemical reactions, a decrease in nutrients, and the risk of foodborne illnesses. It's concerning that many individuals are unaware that improperly storing certain fruits, vegetables, or household items in the refrigerator could pose serious risks to their well-being. The initial food item on this list raises significant concerns. Cooling not only diminishes nutrient content, but also leads to the formation of unhealthy compounds. This post is essential reading for anyone interested in gaining knowledge that could significantly impact your well-being or, at the very least, enhance your health. Before we dive in, we encourage you to like and subscribe to our channel to help us continue sharing valuable content like this. We invite you to share your location in the comments below. Let's get started. The 9th entry is the potato, classified as a vegetable. Let's begin with a reliable staple that many individuals commonly store in their refrigerator without a second thought. Timeless kitchen staples. The potato is a nutritious vegetable. Nonetheless, the surprising reality at this moment is as follows. Storing potatoes in the refrigerator can increase their riskiness. Raw potatoes stored in cool environments experience unique cellular processes. The conversion of potato starch to sugar occurs at an excessively rapid pace. What may initially appear trivial can quickly escalate into something quite alarming. The sugars present in refrigerated potatoes can interact with amino acids, leading to the formation of acrylamide when these potatoes are cooked or baked at elevated temperatures. This chemical is under investigation for potential implications on human health, following its association with cancer in animal studies. However, there is more to consider. When stored in the refrigerator, potatoes can develop a mushy texture, grainy consistency, and may also show signs of discoloration, primarily due to oxidation and the loss of essential nutrients. Rather than remaining the wholesome, flavorful dish that many appreciate, potatoes stored in the refrigerator can transform into a mushy, syrupy substance that poses potential risks when prepared. If you've ever observed that your roasted potatoes possess an unusual sweetness in taste or texture, your refrigerator could be the culprit. To ensure optimal preservation, it is essential to keep potatoes in a cool, dry, and dark environment, shielded from moisture and direct sunlight. They maintain their firmness, flavor, and safety for consumption throughout the process. It's crucial to remove any potatoes from the refrigerator now to prevent them from turning into a potential health risk masquerading as a meal. The 8th item is bread. Let's explore bread, a staple that many older adults consistently have available because of its soothing and fundamental attributes. It is a common misconception that refrigerating bread extends its freshness. The phenomenon where starch molecules in bread begin to crystallize upon exposure to cold temperatures is referred to as retrogradation, a term that elegantly describes the underlying process. This process is not lengthy. It begins quite promptly. What significance does it hold for you? Storing your light and airy bread in the refrigerator can lead to quicker spoilage compared to keeping it at room temperature. Storing bread in the refrigerator does not help it stay fresh. That is indeed accurate. It accelerates the stalling process. Although the difference in flavor might not be immediately apparent, it is certainly significant. Toasted meals, including sandwiches, can sometimes lose their appeal as they may turn crumbly, dry, and gritty. However, the situation is about to deteriorate further. When bread loses moisture in the refrigerator, it creates an environment that is conducive to mold growth. Mold spores flourish in the damp, inconsistent conditions that arise when food is stored in the refrigerator and subsequently reheated. Consuming moldy bread poses health risks and is certainly unappealing. The ingestion of mycotoxins, toxic compounds produced by certain molds, can lead to severe repercussions for older adults with compromised immune systems. To ensure your bread lasts longer, freezing is the most effective method. In the freezer, you can prevent mold and stalling while maintaining texture, Pre-slice it for convenience and warm it up as required. However, let's consider the refrigerator. It's advisable to avoid bringing your regular loaf here. After keeping bread at room temperature for a few days in an airtight container or bread box, it's best to place it in the freezer for optimal preservation. Ensure you maintain warmth and protect your bread from the chill. The seventh item on the list is the vegetable onion. It might come as a surprise to find onions included in this discussion, as storing them in the refrigerator is a frequent error that can result in unforeseen issues. The thin protective layer of the onion serves to shield it from moisture, preserve its flavor, and ensure it remains firm and sturdy. However, storing onions in the refrigerator disrupts that balance entirely. The cold and humidity present in the refrigerator causes chopped onions to absorb moisture at a faster rate. The typical result is a soft texture, unappealing taste, and the development of mold. Nonetheless, the transfer of odors presents a significantly more challenging concern. When refrigerated, onions emit sulfur compounds that accelerate their decomposition, which could lead to contamination of nearby items. They possess a pronounced scent. Have you ever thought about the chance that onions might be hidden in your butter or fruit? You're certainly not fabricating that. The refrigerator is taking in volatile chemicals, much like a sponge does. Another issue that often flies under the radar is bacterial contamination. Sliced onions stored in the refrigerator can become a breeding ground for bacteria, regardless of whether they are covered or not. Onions have the potential to carry harmful bacteria, particularly if they are not stored correctly and are subjected to moisture. It is a misconception that they absorb toxins, contrary to what various food myths suggest. For optimal storage, whole onions should be kept in a pantry or a dry, dark, and well-ventilated area. To ensure freshness, sliced onions should be stored in the refrigerator only if they are properly sealed and consumed promptly, preferably within 1 to 2 days. Store whole onions in a cool environment. This can lead to food spoilage, nutrient depletion, and an unpleasant refrigerator filled with unexpected surprises that carry the taste of onions. Tomatoes secure the 6th position. Tomatoes are often overlooked in discussions about preserving perishable foods. It is a common misunderstanding that storing tomatoes in the refrigerator extends their freshness. However, low temperatures can actually diminish their flavor and texture. Research indicates that tomatoes, classified as tropical fruits, are significantly affected by cold weather conditions. Refrigerating tomatoes disrupts their natural enzymes, preventing them from ripening properly in the cold air. The ripening process of the tomato plays a crucial role in enhancing its flavor profile. In the absence of this element, the fruit's flavor profile will be unremarkable, lacking in richness, and may present a texture that is less than appealing. Considering texture is essential, when stored in the refrigerator, tomatoes tend to lose their firmness, resulting in a mushy and rubbery texture. The unique crispness and succulent flavor of the fresh tomato have disappeared. The impact on nutrition raises significant concerns. Tomatoes provide a valuable source of vitamin C. However, consuming them prematurely can diminish their flavor and nutritional advantages, as vitamin C deteriorates rapidly when stored in cold conditions. Prolonged exposure to cold can lead to skin shriveling and wrinkling, resulting in an appearance that may be perceived as aged and less appealing. When you slice into a tomato and discover it lacks flavor or has a watery texture, it's probably due to being stored at a low temperature. To maintain their freshness, store tomatoes at room temperature with the stem side facing down, away from direct sunlight. If they have reached peak ripeness, consider boiling them or utilizing them right away. Avoid storing them in the refrigerator as if it's the ultimate solution. In reality, you are merely hastening their demise. Garlic is often regarded as a remarkable food due to its sulfur compounds, such as allicin, which are known to help lower blood pressure and bolster the immune system. The numerous advantages of garlic can diminish rapidly or even turn detrimental if stored in the refrigerator. When stored in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated area, garlic bulbs can remain fresh for weeks or even months at room temperature. However, due to the moisture and cool temperature, the natural preservation of garlic is compromised when stored in the refrigerator. When cloves sprout prematurely, their flavor profile shifts and their chemical composition undergoes significant changes. The vibrant, satisfying flavor is substituted with a texture that is chewy and unappealing. When garlic begins to sprout, a significant amount of its allicin, the key compound responsible for its beneficial properties, diminishes. The most challenging phase is about to commence. When garlic is kept in the refrigerator for an extended period, it has the potential to harbor the bacterium responsible for botulism, known as Clostridium botulinum. This holds particularly true for minced or chopped garlic stored in oil. This rare condition has the potential to lead to paralysis or even fatal outcomes if treatment is not administered promptly. Even with the FDA's cautions about the dangers of keeping garlic in oil without proper acidification or refrigeration, numerous individuals continue this practice. There is no necessity to freeze garlic. It can be stored intact in a mesh bag or basket. To prevent bacterial growth, it's best to use chopped garlic right away and store it in a vinegar or lemon juice solution. To maintain the freshness of your garlic, it's important to avoid storing it in the refrigerator, especially if it's unripe or unprotected. Enumerate to 4. Coffee is a popular beverage enjoyed by many for its rich flavor and stimulating effects. You understood correctly. There is a valid explanation for coffee's inclusion on this list. Coffee beans and grinds are highly susceptible to moisture, light, and odors. While storing them in the refrigerator may give the illusion of freshness, you are actually preparing them for a swift decline. Coffee has the ability to absorb moisture and aromas from its surroundings, functioning much like a sponge. Coffee readily takes on the aromas and scents of nearby produce and leftovers as soon as it is placed in the refrigerator. The unique flavor characteristics of your individual beans will be entirely compromised, resulting in a final brew that may taste harsh, uninteresting, or oddly off in some manner. Flavor is merely one aspect, however. In this scenario, moisture is the true adversary. Each time the refrigerator door is opened and closed, moisture accumulates on the coffee beans or grounds due to the humid and cool air within. This results in clumping and premature stalling as it degrades the vital oils, including chlorogenic acids, that contribute to coffee's flavor and wellness advantages. These acids serve as antioxidants that promote the well-being of both the heart and brain. However, they deteriorate at a faster rate in cold and humid environments. As cold coffee ages, it diminishes in flavor and any possible health benefits. Furthermore, damp coffee grounds can be prone to mold growth, particularly when stored in a non-airtight container. For optimal storage, avoid placing your coffee in the refrigerator. Instead, store it in a dark cupboard, ensuring it is well sealed in an opaque container at room temperature. This maintains its safety, flavor, and freshness. The third, my dear, this might catch you off guard. The flavor is delightful, the texture is rich, it boasts a beautiful golden hue, and it presents well in the refrigerator. On the other hand, storing honey in the refrigerator is not advisable. Storing honey in the refrigerator undermines its natural preservation process, which is essential for maintaining its edibility over time, and also negatively affects its texture. Storing honey in the refrigerator can lead to faster crystallization due to the lower temperatures. This results in a texture that is quite challenging, gritty, and nearly unmanageable for scooping or spreading. You might observe that it's merely a shift in texture. Not exactly. When a container is repeatedly opened and closed during the crystallization process, it can lead to the entrapment of air pockets, which may allow moisture to infiltrate. Moist conditions are not favorable for honey. Fermentation can occur, leading to a sour flavor and aroma in your honey. Moisture can significantly promote the proliferation of microorganisms, a situation that honey typically circumvents due to its elevated acidity and minimal water content. However, inadequate upkeep diminishes its inherent protective mechanisms. Additionally, the natural enzymes found in honey, which are inhibited by cold temperatures, play a significant role in its antibacterial characteristics. Yes, honey does lose some of its beneficial properties when stored in the refrigerator. To maintain its quality, honey must be stored away from direct sunlight and extreme heat, ideally in an airtight container placed in a cool, dark environment. This ensures the maintenance of its proven therapeutic properties, encompassing its smooth texture, natural flavor, and all of its beneficial components. Fresh bananas come in a strong second place. Bananas are favored by many, particularly among the elderly, due to their rich potassium levels and gentle digestibility. One certain way to diminish the remarkable benefits of bananas is by refrigerating them. Bananas thrive in tropical climates due to their unique chemical composition, which is adapted for survival in warm environments. The enzymes responsible for ripening cease to function effectively when placed in the refrigerator, particularly if the fruit has not yet reached full ripeness. This may result in your bananas not reaching full ripeness. The most concerning aspect is that they will rapidly turn a lackluster gray or black color, remain tough, and diminish in taste. This discoloration is not only unsightly, but it also indicates the possibility of cold injury. The banana frequently develops mushy areas in unexpected places and acquires an off-putting metallic flavor under its darkened exterior. While bananas are delicious and visually appealing, storing them in the refrigerator can diminish some of their natural antioxidants. The presence of antioxidants, particularly dopamine and catechins, plays a crucial role in maintaining brain function and mitigating oxidative stress in aging cells. Unbeknownst to many, placing bananas in the refrigerator can diminish essential compounds that are particularly beneficial for older adults. When a banana is placed in the refrigerator while already overripe, the moisture accumulation in the skin, particularly near the stem, can promote mold growth, leading to a more concerning situation. Consequently, rather than extending shelf life, you may encounter the risk of mold exposure. To maintain the freshness and ripeness of bananas, consider storing them in an airtight container or, preferably, hanging them from a hook. When faced with an abundance of ripe bananas, consider freezing the peeled ones in a container. This method preserves their quality for future use in smoothies or baking endeavors. However, avoid freezing them solely for the purpose of extending their shelf life. This will influence the fruit's intended use, texture, and nutritional benefits. Olive oil stands out as a superior choice. Olive oil is one of the most hazardous items to store in the refrigerator, particularly for older individuals, despite its numerous uses and status as a heart-healthy essential. The crystallization of fatty acids occurs during solidification, leading to olive oil becoming murky and semi-solid when kept in the refrigerator. Many older adults may not fully grasp the significant health issues that can arise from the constant temperature fluctuations caused by repeatedly placing oil in and out of the refrigerator, despite the fact that this physical change is not inherently problematic. Each time olive oil transitions from a cold to a warm environment, its molecular structure experiences stress, accelerating oxidation, and possibly generating free radicals, which can reduce the oil's antioxidant benefits. By increasing inflammation, these oxidative changes can transform heart-healthy oils into substances that may exacerbate conditions for older adults. It is alarming that research suggests these oils, commonly found among older adults, could exacerbate joint inflammation and gastrointestinal issues due to the high temperatures they have been exposed to. The process of solidification can lead to oil becoming more difficult to pour, which heightens the chances of spills or excessive usage, ultimately contributing additional calories to the diets of older adults. Consuming cold olive oil alters the flavor profile, diminishing the enjoyable fruity and peppery notes characteristic of the Mediterranean diet, alongside potential health concerns. It is advisable to keep olive oil in a dark glass or sealed metal container, ensuring it is stored away from heat sources such as stoves and direct sunlight. When stored correctly, premium olive oil can maintain its flavor and health advantages for as long as 2 years post-bottling. This wraps up our compilation of 9 foods that should never be stored in the refrigerator. Beginning with an organized approach to your food storage is a wise decision. It is important to avoid chilling bananas and avocados until they reach their optimal maturity level. Onions and potatoes thrive when stored in cool, dark environments rather than damp, cold conditions. Bread is ideally enjoyed at room temperature or can be stored in the freezer for optimal freshness. Avoid placing it in the refrigerator. Keep your coffee in a dark, airtight container and store the honey in a cool pantry. Tomato sauce infused with garlic. These are potent natural compounds, so it's important to handle them with care. Proper storage will ensure that their flavor and health benefits remain intact. This is your opportunity to share your thoughts. Are you aware of the potential dangers linked to storing specific foods in the refrigerator? What immediate changes will you implement? We invite you to share your insights and experiences in the comments section below. We would appreciate your insights on this matter. I sincerely appreciate your time and attention. Indeed it is.